Okay, so have you ever looked at an old, tarnished silver spoon? You know, the kind you find in the back of a drawer, and just wondered what happens to it? Well, it turns out it doesn't have to just get tossed. Today, we're going to dive into the incredible art of taking that forgotten flatware and turning it into these beautiful, lasting pieces of art for the garden. I mean, this quote right here just says it all, doesn't it? This isn't about recycling junk. It's about looking at a piece of silver and seeing a story, seeing a survivor, where most people would just see tarnish. And that's really the heart of this whole thing. It's about giving these pieces a second chance. You can feel it in their weight. These old 19th century pieces were just never meant to be thrown away. They're like a canvas that's already soaked up 100 years of family dinners and history. Now, here's a term you've got to know in this world: bleeding. This isn't a flaw, not at all. It's actually a sign of character. It's that moment where the copper or brass from underneath starts peeking through the worn silver. It's like a visual receipt of a long, well-used life. So where does this all even begin? Well, the transformation kicks off with a hunt. And we're not talking about buying new materials here. We're talking about digging through dusty bins at estate sales and auctions, really searching for these hidden survivors. And you're not just grabbing any old fork. You're looking for specific tells. Heavy pieces with these incredible ornate floral patterns, or maybe some bold Art Deco designs that are just going to catch the sunlight perfectly in a garden. And that reinforced heel? Oh yeah, that's your clue that the original maker built this thing to last. So for anyone out there feeling inspired to try this, here's a little tactical guide. First, feel the weight. Modern stuff is just too flimsy. Then, flip it over and look for EPNS. That stands for electroplated nickel silver, which is pretty much the gold standard for durability. You'll want to avoid any deep pitting, and then when you heat the metal, you have to be patient. Go slow. Okay, so once the perfect pieces are found and cleaned up, the real art begins, the forging. And this is this delicate, careful dance between intense heat and really precise pressure, turning an old spoon into a plant marker, or maybe a fork into a dragonfly. But the key here is that this is not blacksmithing with some random scrap iron. If you get too aggressive with the heat, you'll literally blister that beautiful silver plate right off. The goal is to coax it, to gently persuade it, always respecting its history and its limits. And this brings us to a really crucial piece of wisdom, something that comes directly from the artisan's bench, about working with this unique and, honestly, kind of stubborn material. This just illustrates the nuance so brilliantly. See, sterling silver is soft, it's predictable. But silver plate, it fights back a little. It's got this stubbornness that comes from its brass or nickel core. You actually have to develop a feel for that tension to shape it without breaking it. All right, so let's see how this all comes together for the final product. After all that forging, the pieces are prepared for a brand new permanent home outdoors, where they've got to be able to withstand dirt and rain and just time. This comparison really shows you exactly why silver plate with a copper or brass base is the perfect medium. Sterling, it's just too soft, too risky, and stainless steel is way too hard to get artistic with. Silver plate hits that perfect sweet spot of being durable, workable, and having this classic, beautiful look. But you know, at the end of the day, this isn't just about making pretty things. It's about being part of a circular economy. It's about taking something that was designed with real quality and craftsmanship and stopping it from becoming landfill, and instead giving it a whole new purpose that actually honors where it came from. Okay, so at this point, you probably have some questions about how these pieces actually hold up once they're out in the garden. So let's answer a few of the most common ones.
First up, the big one. We all know what happens to some metals when they're left outside. So is this beautiful art just going to turn green?
And the answer is yeah, a little bit, and that's a good thing. Where that historic bleeding exposes the copper base, you might get this beautiful green patina. But that's not seen as a problem. It's called a living finish, and it actually helps the art blend in and look even more beautiful in its garden home. Right, here's a very practical question for all the gardeners out there. If you're going to use these as markers for your tomatoes or your herbs, are they actually safe? And the answer is absolutely. The metals are totally stable. They won't leach harmful chemicals into your soil, unlike some painted or, plastic markers might. So you can put them right in your vegetable beds with complete peace of mind. And finally, what about upkeep? Do you have to get out the silver polish every month and go to town on these things? Nope, the care is wonderfully simple. Just a wipe with a damp cloth is all you need. See, the goal isn't to make it look brand new, it's to preserve that hand-forged, time-worn character. Using harsh chemicals would just erase its story. This quote just sums it all up so perfectly. Each one of these pieces connects a 19th century craftsman with a 21st century garden. It's like a physical bridge through time, sitting right there among your flowers. So in the end, this is so much more than just a garden stake. It's an act of reclamation. It's a piece of history that's been given a new life. And it kind of makes you wonder, what stories are just waiting to be told right in your own backyard?